I like to follow rules. I just like that. So anyhow, who, if anyone, is being paid at this time other than the contractors, and why? So I guess other than the contractors building it, are they being paid? Who's being paid?
Nobody knows, sir.
Yeah. Well, for the museum, in a typical month, this is a FOIA request, payroll expenses for the museum are $33,711. The payroll expenses for the foundation are $16,441. So, yeah, somebody's being paid, and obviously there's staff. I don't know all their staff, but certainly.
So more than just contractors are being paid, they have staff. So that's the answer to that question. Here we go. We're almost finished with the questions. We'll have time maybe to take a few from the floor, but we don't want to monopolize everyone's time. Why wasn't the funding in place for the museum? How long will it take to get funding in place? Why are ticket prices so high? That's a threefer. So I guess we'll take them one at a time. Why wasn't the funding in place for the museum? George, would you like to?
You mean before they broke ground?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
why wasn't the funding in place for the museum? I guess before they started building.
Common sense would say you don't start something you don't have the money to finish. Just like Joy said, you don't start building a house you can't afford, and then try to run to the bank later hoping to give you more money. I don't understand the logic on that.
There's actually a story in the Bible that talks about not building a grain silo foolishly, and I can't remember the scripture and verse, but it says don't build your grain silo foolishly before you have the funds to finish it.
Yeah.
I think that's good advice in general.
So certainly, I mean, we don't start building a project until we have the money to pay for it. But again, it's the gun analogy again. It's the gun to the head. I mean, if you don't do this, taxpayers, this thing's going to fail, and that's just not right. I mean, that's not the way you do business. And the question is, why did they? I mean, they've broken ground. Obviously, they're breaking ground back in July 2012 to put in a $2.1 million project to run sewer and water lines. And the stated reason was to spur outside investor interest. So this time, instead of spurring outside investor interest by breaking ground again and putting up structures, they're trying to spur taxpayer interest, in my opinion. And I just don't think that's right.
All right. How long will it take to get the funding in place?
9 months. 9 months.
Well, it'll take 9 months if the people don't stand up and be accounted for. But you know, to me that's their problem and their issue. As Dr. Sanders said years ago, we will spend as much time as it takes to raise the money. And so they need to go back to the drawing board and find those wealthy investors and raise the money privately. The public's already given, you know, to the tune of short of $6 million on a statewide level. You know, I mean, you know, another issue are these new market tax credits. That's another issue that needs to be fully developed in this community. All these new market, I think that's the word, new market tax credits. I don't understand them, but somebody, and these different names of who's, you know, we got all these names in these different entities across the different developments that we see. So it brings you to the point is, do they even know how much, does the board of directors even know how much money they're getting? Because what we're seeing in other instances are they go through all these different shell companies and they take money from this pot and this pot. And so those questions need to be answered. And the folks on the Marshals Museum board, they need to ask tough questions. Because sometimes boards, they're just serving on the board, and all the other folks, or all the powerful folks, are really making all the decisions. And the board, they're doing it in good faith, but they're not keeping a good enough eye on the really power players.
Thank you. Why are ticket prices so high? I don't know if anyone on the panel can answer that, but it is a good question. They are kind of high. For example, the Statue of Liberty costs $18.50, and that includes ferry ride out on the island. So, I mean, the price is $12.50 for adults, so that's just $6 less than taking a boat ride and going to the Statue of Liberty.
But I think it does bring a point. I mean, this is going to be a great educational opportunity for young people. I've seen that, people say that, and we all support that concept. You know, if it's going to teach our youngsters and us about the Constitution and the rule of law, then that's a great thing. But that's not the issue. The issue is who's going to pay for it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone disputes that educational opportunities for children and for the community at large are a bad idea. I think that I'm pretty sure everyone agrees in here that those are good. This is a matter of paying for it. Who pays? Yeah, that's a great question. Who is in charge of the money? I'm going to assume that this